Hello once again, and welcome to Jimmy's Travel Station and Train Station. And today me and my son Forbes are here, and we're on another great adventure. We're going to be filming all kinds of different things this weekend. One of them, we're here in outside of Somerset, PA, and we're here at the 9/11 Memorial crash site of Flight 93. And my son, this is the first time here. It's about the third time for me here, but first time here since they finished it. So we're going to go pay our respects to the Americans that lost their life on that day in September 11th, 2000. So follow us on this adventure, and ask if you're watching. Please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions as always, and just follow us on this adventure and enjoy the video. So follow us. So here we got a little layout of the Memorial Plaza and crash site. We're here. It's a visitor center right here to the right, and there's the plaza. You walk down to the crash site being over there in the furthest corner. It's showing some the overlook, western overlook. So since they built this, you can almost go out to the crash site, real close to it. So follow us on this adventure. So we'll go ahead and start walking here.
I was walking out when we stopped.
So the way I understand this, the way this wall is built, it's like the flight of the plane when it was coming in upside down. When the crew took over. Now this flight was supposedly headed turn back to DC. It was going to either take out the Capitol building or the White House, they believe. But the passengers stopped it, and they're the heroes. And they stopped the terrorists from making it back. There's the visitor center. Got a little gift shop in here too. Should have brought your little passport book, because this is one of the things you could have punched. Says it was an ordinary day in rural Pennsylvania. At 7 a.m. in the town of Shanksville, Rich King walks a block from his home to his business. At his stores, he begins brewing coffee for his regular customers. 7 a.m. that day at Newark International Airport in New Jersey, Captain Jason Dahl and First Officer Leroy Homer began preparations to fly United Airlines Flight 93 to San Francisco to California. 7:20 a.m. Flight 93 begins boarding at Gate 17A. At 7:59 a.m. American Airlines Flight 11 takes off from Boston, Massachusetts for Los Angeles, California with 92 people aboard. At 8:14 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175 takes off from Boston for Los Angeles with 65 people aboard. At 8:16 a.m. classes begin at Shanksville Stony Creek School for approximately 490 children in kindergarten through grade 12. 8:20 a.m. American Airlines Flight 77 leaves Washington, D.C. for Los Angeles with 64 people aboard. At 8:42 a.m. Flight 93 takes off with 44 people aboard after a delay of about 25 minutes due to heavy air traffic in Newark.
The city asked the Federal Aviation Administration for permission to close down airspace in all of New York, lest there be a third aircraft or some other untoward
Video of the World Trade Center when it
Today
happened.
we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. And have ordered that the full resources of the federal government will go to help the victims and their families and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will always stand.
We are hearing right now of another explosion that has taken place at the Pentagon. We have the heart of the financial district of America being attacked. Now we understand that
Showing the flight pattern. You can pick up and hear the passengers talking before they crashed. They got conversations you can listen to. So you can see the depression in the ground of the wings. That's all that was left. There's pieces they found. Not very big pieces. Here's where the jet fuel burned out the trees. And this is the plane where it crashed, the impression in the ground. There's more parts. Seat belt, silverware. There's one of the guys that died in it, Tom Beamer. He's one of the famous ones that took over during the flight. And this is the whole crew right here.
For as long as this memorial stands,
This wall,
what the men and women aboard the plane did here.
40 men and women
Courage they showed,
on that day.
the sacrifice they made,
These are their pictures.
and the lives they spared. The United States will never forget.
First responders that day. See the rock out there way out in the distance? That's where the plane crashed. Way off in the distance there. And we'll go down to the plaza too so we can get a closer look. Where the rock is where the plane actually crashed. So follow us on this adventure. So we'll go around the corner here and look out over the plaza to the crash site, and then we'll go drive down and get closer to the actual crash site, to the plaza. This is the way the plane flew in, the flight path, this direction. Way off in the distance where that rock is. Alright, so follow us on this adventure. Well, we finally made it to the Memorial Plaza crash site. We were just up at the visitor center, which sits up there on the hill overlooking the crash site. And there's a trail from this plaza that leads out to the crash site. And we'll go get as close as we can to the crash site. And they have programs going on too. You can listen to the park rangers talk about it. There's Flight 93 when it crashed, the smoke from the farm. See, it went through Ohio, flew out of New Jersey, in Ohio turned around and then crashed. It was on its way back to DC. So its flight path was going to be. It's only 20 minutes less away from the Capitol from here. But you're inside the plane and the actual cry. There's the flight recorder they found, voice recorder. It's 25 feet down in the crater. And here's the passengers of Flight 93.
If they were going to make any headway. And so we know a little bit about
Here's where they were escalating. That's the biggest piece found at the site. There's a credit card. That belonged to one of the hijackers, one of the terrorists.
Weapons for the passengers and crew, we know they had something. Passenger Jeremy Glick, in conversation with his wife as they're developing this plan, she asked what weapons they're going to use. And from what we know about Jeremy, it was a little bit of a half joke, but very much serious. He said, well, if we have to, we have the butter knives from breakfast service. So butter knife or not, that's still a knife. Possibly the beverage cart that goes up and down the aisle, that's been theorized. Maybe a fire extinguisher. Really anything big or heavy that they could fight back with, they were going to do. And physicality, the passengers and crew members were much more of a physical match and much more stronger than the actual terrorists themselves. The terrorists, there is the one terrorist pilot whose job is to fly the aircraft, and then on this plane there are 3 muscle hijackers. Their goal and their real purpose on this was to take control of the plane and to maintain control, so to keep the passengers and crew from fighting back. They were not very muscular. All of them were about 5'5" to 5'7" in height. They were all they weren't very muscular, about 150 pounds, 120 pounds. They're not really intimidating if you would see them on the street, and not very intimidating when compared to some of the passengers and crew of Flight 93. There were a lot of very physical...
Talking how about the physique of the terrorists they were small guys. So the real heroes of this is the victims, that the crew that took over and attacked the terrorists so the plane wouldn't reach back to DC. It's a sad day, but let us never forget what happened when America was attacked by terrorists. Last time it happened before 2000 was when the Japanese attacked us at Pearl Harbor in 1941, December the 7th. And this happened on September 11th, 2000. So right out there in the distance, you see the rock sitting by the pine trees. That's the crash site of the plane. So you're really not going to get any closer than this. So this is actually about the closest you're going to get to it. Now, family members of the deceased are allowed to go out there. This is about close as we can get. Right where that rock is where the plane crashed. So it's like a natural graveyard now. Because there were no bodies found, they all disintegrated. I mean, there wasn't much left of the plane. So I'm glad I got to take my son to see this. He's wanting to see it, so he was talking about this in school, right? With your teacher. So this was way before he was born. But let us not forget, and God bless the crew and the families of the victims. And let us never forget what happened here. So this has been Uncle Jimmy and Forbes, Jimmy's Train Station and Travel Adventures. Like I said, I ask you please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments, suggestions. Till then, go out and have your own adventures in life. So until next time, goodbye.